Hello guys, Gina with Sidewalk Talk. Today, I'm with Habstrak.
Habby! It's me.
Did you call yourself Habby?
No, Eptic gave me that nickname one day.
Oh,
it just stayed there.
Oh, that's such a unique nickname.
Yeah, and then Uncle Habby, because I have two nieces, two nephews. I'm a bit of a family man, so
Uncle Habby?
it just stayed, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So you grew up in south of France.
Yeah.
Where in south of France?
In a small town of like 1,500 people. I guess you could say a village.
1,500
Yeah,
people.
small town life.
Wow.
In the south near Montpellier, Nîmes, in the countryside.
What was that like growing up in a village of 1,500 people?
Fairly quiet and pretty lovely, to be honest. Not much distractions.
What did you do growing up there?
Honestly, I started making music very early because I
Yeah,
was
your
pretty,
dad gave you a
pretty
guitar
bored.
at 5?
Yeah, when I was very,
Like
very young, I
5?
started picking up my dad's guitars. Yeah, he kind of stopped touching his guitars the moment I started touching them. So
Oh, why?
I kind of, no, I don't know. I never actually played guitar with my dad. When I think about it, it's funny.
Yeah.
Two of my sisters would play the piano as well, so I was in a pretty musical environment. And yeah, we just pick it up from there.
So did he give you the guitars at 5? Like what? Like how
No,
was
I
that?
just grabbed one from the house, you know.
And
Yeah.
you just started playing?
I don't know if you can call that playing as much as making noise, but you know, that's sort of
Right.
like my whole career in a nutshell, isn't it? Making noise.
Where did you get your creative side from? Did your dad always play instruments or something?
Definitely both of my parents. My
Both of
dad,
your parents?
yeah, my dad's a carpenter, in the field of arts and everything. So he's always been working around woods, but also electronics and everything. It's very handy. Would always like fix up old instruments. Would always find like broken, guitars and fix them and everything.
That's
so
so
for my
cool.
dad, and my mom's like painter, multi-faceted artist. She's not an actual painter, but she paints. She's not an actual artist, but she draws. When I was a kid, she was a theater teacher.
Oh, like theater.
Theater. Pardon
Theater.
my accent. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She was a theater teacher,
Wow.
and now she kind of writes tales and stories for kids and builds like those old stages and scenes and goes to school to like tell stories to kids.
That's so...
For Easter, for Christmas, everything. Yeah.
What was that like growing up around such creative people?
To me, it was just how he was. He was just natural, We were a little hippie family in the south of France, just doodling around,
Did your friends and the people around you, were they also pretty creative?
Yeah, I didn't have many close friends growing up, but my two close friends, all three of us were making music. We kind of wanted to make a band, but we couldn't agree on the music we wanted to make, so that's why I went into electronic. Another one of them did too. And the third one was more into jazz. So now one of them is a saxophone player in a jazz improv live band.
Yeah.
And the other one makes like drum and bass and also is a sound designer for video games. So we were like always, feeding off each other's minds and everything when we were kids, yeah.
Okay, so you guys are still in touch with
absolutely.
with your two close friends.
Absolutely.
From growing
One
up.
of them still lives in south of France, the other one lives in Montreal. So
Wow.
I see them every time I either play a show in Montreal or go back home,
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, and you guys are all in the doing music.
Yeah, the guy that plays saxophone actually runs a organic grocery store now. So it's like he's got like a quiet, chill life. He kind of stopped making music his job.
Yeah.
But he still is an incredible saxophone drums player as well. He could do anything. That kid's a genius. Yeah.
What type of music were you guys listening to growing up?
I was the punk one. I was very punk and grunge and like Nirvana and like stuff like Sex Pistols, and then
Okay, so is that where the whole not agreeing to the music, like one
I
wanted
think
to play
so,
like jazz?
yeah. The entire establishment kind of for me came from that. I was a big Nirvana fan. My homie was a big Rage Against the Machine fan. And the other one more like Deftones. So we like the same thing, but not exactly the same thing, right? It was like small nuances to this stuff.
So what were your parents listening to?
Oof, weird stuff. My dad, a lot of music from the 70s, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd,
Oh,
all
the
that stuff.
classics.
Yeah. And my mom, also that, but a lot of very weird electronic music as well. She's the one that got me into Aphex Twin, Amon Turbine.
Oh,
all
so
that
your
stuff.
mom is the one that got you into the
Yeah,
electronic
sort of,
side.
yeah. Actually, it wasn't my mom. I discovered that from like other friends, but then when I took it home, I realized that it was there the whole time, right? I didn't realize that I was already, had to step into electronic music until I noticed that it was there the whole time. I just wasn't paying attention,
Yeah. So how did you tell your parents that you were going to get into music full time? Because you said it kind of accidentally happened, right?
Yeah. That came later down the road because I was a student, studying literature.
Oh, you're studying literature?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I was doing a lot of like small jobs after that 'cause I wasn't really too good at school, so I started doing a bunch of jobs.
How come you wanted to get into literature?
I don't know, it just sort of happened, you know.
You like to like read,
'Cause
right?
the cursus was either like technological or like, you know, arts, literature and everything. So I went into the arts and language and everything.
Okay.
And so I did that, but I started working, you know, construction sites on the side with my dad, kitchens on the other side to make, you know, and I was working in kitchens for a long time, but so me making music my job came much later. I was like 21, 22. And so not always well received from them, but then very quickly they realized I was just working hard and I was, you know, paying my rent and doing my dues, so they accepted it, you know.
Oh, they're supportive of your music
They are
career.
now, yeah.
Oh, they are now.
They are now,
They weren't
yeah.
at first?
No, obviously at first my dad wanted me to follow his path, you know, work with him. I did for a few years while making music on the side. And then at some point music kind of took over. Just like 1 month I was making enough money with music to not need to work on anything else. It was like, oh, well, okay.
How long did it take them to start accepting it, Stan?
The initial acceptance didn't take too long because I was smart enough to do it like the proper way. In France, you know, you need to get pay stubs and, you know, like declare officially your money, pay taxes, whatever, you know, pretty much like everywhere. So at first when I was just playing CD shows for cash money, they were like, this is not a future. And then they were like, oh, you're actually working towards your retirement plan. You're actually saving money. You actually, you know, you have a savings account. So, you know, they're like, okay, this is an actual thing, you know. And then back and forth, you know, sometimes they were like, well, is this really the life for you or not? And now they're just like, well, they're just really proud. My son's a DJ. Just
now
so
they're
proud.
super proud.
Yeah, my dad has a t-shirt that says Habstrakt, I am your father. He made it himself. It's such a dad joke.
Wait,
but
he made that himself?
he made that himself. It's so funny. It's so embarrassing, actually. But
you have to show me a picture.
I have to find a
something.
picture
Can I
of
put
that.
it on here?
yeah, I have to find a picture for sure.
I
find
love
one.
that. Oh, that's amazing. I'm really glad to hear that, you know, they're super supportive now. As they should. You're very,
my
you know, you're
parents
doing
and,
very well
and
right
my
now.
sisters as well, yeah.
Oh, yeah. What did your sisters think?
Oh, they've always been very supportive. I was, you know, 3 older sisters. I was the last one and the only boy, so I'm not gonna say I had a pass, but I did have a pass to do whatever I wanted, right? I could kind of get away with being the artist. And
Right.
the first of my sister, the first child they had, they were a little more rough on her, like you have to study.
Yeah.
And, you know. Second one as well.
Usually...
Third one a little more flexible, and then they had me. They were like, it'll be
just
okay.
Do whatever
It'll be
you want.
fine,
Yeah. That's usually how it happens.
Yeah.
Wow. So four kids your parents had.
Yeah.
Wow. It's a big family.
It's a big family.
I'm an only child.
You're the only child.
So I've
So
always...
you had all the pressure on yourself.
Yeah,
huh?
I did. And then I had like a tiger mom. You know how like Asian moms are.
Oh yeah.
So you got introduced to electronic music at 13.
Yeah.
How did you get introduced to that?
I was at a party and someone played Outer Space from Prodigy. And I lost my marbles. I just completely lost my shit, and I was like, "What is this? I need more of this every day."
So what did you do? What DAW did you open, or who taught you how to produce music?
So I didn't have a computer back then. It was just the family computer. We'd take turns, you know, me and my sister, to use AOL and MSN Messenger and everything. So you only have like your 1 hour allotted of, you know, computer time. And I wasn't really like internet savvy, or didn't really have this mind of researching stuff, you know. So mostly I just started with like very crappy software, Acid Pro, SoundForge, everything. So mostly I was using machines like grooveboxes, samplers, synthesizers, everything, whatever I could find.
Yeah.
Tape recorders and everything.
Hello.
Oh, that's a cute dog.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah, no, I was using a lot of like analog gear, you know, because having my own computer was not really an option, and just waiting for my allotted time of computer was not also an option. The family computer was really old and crappy, so I couldn't do much with it. So it was a lot of like bedroom plug-in machine sims, building my own stuff, finding like secondhand stuff, which is kind of something I carried with me and I still do to this day, right?
Yeah, because you have like that huge synthesizer thing.
Yeah, I have that big modular now.
I haven't seen it yet. I hope to see it soon.
You will,
Wink,
yeah. And a bunch of synthesizers, and drum machines and everything. So I was like pretty outside the box, you know.
That's like respect, you know, to do that, and put together stuff and create your own type of sounds and stuff.
Yeah, it was a good way of learning. And again, I wasn't too internet savvy, and it wasn't such thing as the YouTube tutorials was not a big thing back then, right? You couldn't find too much information about the gear you wanted to use or how to do things, so you had to use your imagination. You had to really spend a lot of time experimenting and everything. So I think a lot of my creative process came from that, right? From just like randomizing and see what happens.
Now it's different as far as music production. You could literally get a sound to anything, like any plugin.
Any specific thing you have a tutorial for it.
So like what's your take on that?
I think it's great, but also it can be a little confusing. I think
because there's so many options.
Yeah, I think it's at the end of the day, I think all the new artists that I see coming up right now are still the people that have that curiosity and are gonna look for like weird ways to do stuff, you know? I think it brings a lot of confusion on some people that want to be involved in the scene or be a producer, and that will follow all those tutorials thinking it's gonna lead you to the answer or the secret, you know?
Exactly.
And I was the opposite. I always knew there was no secret. You just had to take a try at it and see what happens and comes out of it, right?
Exactly. Just using your own kind of imagination and creativity.
Exactly. Just like let it flow, you know. And so I like the fact that you have all that knowledge available, you know. When finally internet opened up for me and I understood more like how powerful the tool was, it was great because I could send my music everywhere. I started getting played on radios and everything.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, it's a beautiful thing, but at the same time I think it can be very confusing and very frustrating, and you might spend a lot of time looking for answers that are within yourself the whole time. You have to take it with a grain of sand, you know?
Right.
I see those tutorials. One thing I like to do, for example, is I'll go on YouTube and I look at tutorials of people remaking my sounds and how they make it.
Yeah,
and
how is that?
They make it so overly complicated. I'm like, if they only they knew how stupid the solution is.
Okay, so it's not even accurate.
Oh, never. No, never. They use techniques that I don't even know what it is, and it's very complicated and stuff like.
That must be really kind of funny.
It's very, very interesting.
It's like a lot more simple than you think. So what DAW did you start using?
So when I got my first computer to my own when I was probably 18, it was Ableton.
18?
Yeah, I've always been on Ableton. Yeah.
What do you like about Ableton compared to, like FL Studio and the other ones?
Use a bit of FL Studio. I like Ableton. I don't know. I like the tools of them. I like the inbuilt effect and synthesizers are very powerful, very simple. I like the colors.
The colors.
I don't know, I'm a simple guy. I like the color of the bricks on the screen. It reminds me of Tetris. It's all I needed to. The interface is professional enough that you can do great results, but also intuitive enough that you can have that experimental approach to it. And what I like about Ableton is I see everyone's using it differently. There's no two producers that use the same method on Ableton, and so it's great because every time you're going to work on a song with someone that uses Ableton, we're both going to have to find a common ground between what we do and learn from each other, you know, and it's a good tool for that.
Like as far as collaborating, because I'm kind of surrounded by music producers, and a lot of the things they talk about is in Ableton, the way they organize things.
Yeah.
Like sometimes like there's producers where it's like the total mess. You don't know where anything is.
Yeah.
And then there's some producers who are like, oh wow, like it's extremely organized.
Yeah.
Which producer are you?
I've been both actually. It's
Ah.
funny, I used to be that guy that was like, everything was grouped, color code, renamed, precise. You looked at it and it was like a spreadsheet. It was so immaculate, you know?
Yeah.
It was so clean. It was when I was working on Chicken Soup with Skrillex, I realized how messy his projects were.
His projects?
Yeah, because he wasn't wasting time trying to organize everything. He would just go, you know? You create and see what happens later. And then I kind of got used to like this aspect of like, you'll find wherever everything is, you'll be okay, you know? And I would spend less time, you know, organizing my stuff and more time writing. And so now I'm the most chaotic producer ever. Like you look at my project 6-7 years ago, it's so clean, it's so color coded, everything's grouped.
That's so
You can
crazy.
close all the groups and it looks like a nice, you know, rainbow and everything. You look at my project now, it's like
all over the place.
half of the channels are mute, one drum is at the bottom, the other one's at the top. Nothing's color coded, nothing's renamed.
So you kind of got that inspiration from Skrillex to be like,
little bit,
like
yeah.
you
I think
kind of let go of the everything needs to be.
When you realize that like one of the best producers in the world is this project to completely organized, you're like, what am I doing this for, right? So
that's crazy. How was it working with him, by the way? I'm just curious.
Oh, it was great. It's really hard to
Like,
define how
how does he
inspiring that
think?
was. I wish I knew. It's just very fast, you know.
He's very fast.
He makes stuff really fast, and that was a good time, you know, doing those sessions, and it makes it look way too easy, though, you know. It's like Man's a genius. There's absolutely no doubt about it. But he makes it look so easy.
Wow.
Because he makes stuff really quick, and he's a very inspired person. So I don't know.
That's crazy.
It's a question that comes up pretty often, and I don't.
You just have.
I don't know what else to say. Like it's it's
It's
one of the biggest
the
genius
best,
in the
biggest genius. Yep.
Very impressive.
How do you think your music has changed since the early days?
I think it went through several phases of like trying to like fit and and then going back to doing absolutely whatever I wanted. And I think now it's really at this point where like I think I'm confident enough with my sound that I don't really need to overthink anything, and so there's a lot more variety into what I put out, but at the same time it remains extremely personal and it's just very unconditional. Like it's just evolved in a way that I think it's a little more punk now in the aspect. It's a little more like fuck the system, if that makes sense, like I don't really respect any rules.
Yeah.
Should it be in the writing but also the production?
Right.
For a while I was very technical, trying to abide by the mix down, the technical aspect, and now I kind of learn to be more confident about my abilities to make things sound and put that on the back seat and just enjoy making music again, right? And so I'm a lot more, if I had to define, I'd say I use my heart more and my brain less. Look at this little cat over there.
As far as giving feedback or like receiving feedback, do you send out your music for feedback often?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, not too much, yeah.
Because that's another thing. A lot of producers, they send out their music to get feedback to multiple people, and then you'll get multiple different feedbacks.
Exactly, I used to do
like,
that.
who do you listen to?
I used to do that, and I mean, I've over the last few years, I've been really, really blessed with having the opportunity of playing that many shows. So the best feedback for me is a club, always. So I play it out. I make a new song and I play it out. I see what happens, right? And so that's the best feedback I got. For a while before, obviously, I would, ask people for feedback. It was pretty painful sometimes. You hear stuff you don't want to hear.
Oh yeah, like I saw in one of your interviews, like French people are really brutally honest.
Really brutally honest. So.
Are you brutally honest?
Yeah,
You're
I'll make
like,
you
this sucks.
send me your music and I'll make you cry. Like
really?
Yeah.
Have you made someone cry with your feedback?
Probably.
Oh
yeah.
no.
They won't admit to it, but I for sure have.
Oh no.
But it's because I wanted what's best for them, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Now, like I said, I think at the end of the day I make dance music, many various different shapes and forms, but it's still dance music, and so I play it out, People dancing or people vibing, is everything reacting to that? If they don't, I try to understand why.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, have there been any instances where you played out something and you didn't get any?
Most of the time.
Really?
It always starts with that, right? It's
like not positive feedback.
You just don't see a reaction that you hoped for. So usually from there I take, several paths. One is, does it need more brain or does it need more heart, right? Is this needs to be more music or this just needs to sound better?
How do you figure that out?
You try, it's
so you just come back with a better mix or come back with a
yeah. You make several versions, you try them out. I'm very lucky when I get to do a weekend with 2 different shows because I get to play version A, version B and see what happens,
Whoa!
I've done a lot of weird stuff as well where I'll play 2 versions of the same song, but just like small parts of each gathered together as one song. So I could kind of like judge,
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, I try to trust my instinct, a lot. I've learned pretty early on, someone told me that, the difference between famous producers and people like you and me is that we all make bad music, but they just choose not to release it. I think it's just years of, experience and working on my standards and kind of like defining what I want to make a little better.
What's the best piece of music production advice that you've received?
I think it goes back to what I said earlier about like stop being so brainiac about everything and kind of like let the chaos reign a little bit and just follow your heart a little bit. So it'd be that from Skrillex, but also Joyride has taught me a lot. Joyride is a very good friend of mine and an incredible
He's
producer.
An amazing person.
He's an amazing person and he has knowledge, his knowledge knows no boundaries. He has so much experience and knowledge about sound, and so he taught me a lot about, putting heart into what you do. I think these are the best, advices you get as a producer. Like you could get 1,000 technical insight of use this plugin this way. But then you'll sit down with one guy that just talks to you about energy and vibe and heart and everything. You'll be like, wait, that's it. And you'll question everything that you've done before. Those are the best feedback that I like to get,
Yeah. That's amazing. What do you think is the biggest challenge as an artist?
Yeah, I think things have changed, drastically over the
Too
last.
much,
I hate to
like-
sound like an ancient, but over the last 10 years, things have drastically changed. And so I think these days the biggest thing is navigating the industry and getting your first shows and understanding how to take off, right? I get asked like, how do you make it in the industry? And I have no answer to that because what am I
Yeah.
gonna say? Oh, you gotta make good songs, get signed on a label, make
Yeah.
TikToks,
To make
and it's like.
TikToks.
Social
But-
media in general, TikTok really changed the game, but social media in general. So I think one of the biggest challenges is to navigate your way through all those things and those feelings, right? Of like having the pressure and wanting to make it, thinking about all those aspects from the music you make, how you diffuse your music and everything, and keeping the love alive, staying
Yeah.
passionate and in love with what you're making
Yeah.
when you're facing all of those stresses and all of those hyper competitivity of what we're doing right now. I think that's the biggest challenge, is to manage to isolate yourself from all that while staying at the heart of it, right? And keep it genuine, because again, I think there's new generation of social media and how we use them. People want a very close-up interaction,
Yeah.
and at the same time they can tell when something's not genuine, when something's a little too forced, when something's too calculated and everything.
That's true.
And so you can't create magic, you just sort of happens, right? And so I think that's really hard, is do you just sit there and wait for magic to happen? Do you push your luck so it happens, but then you get frustrated if you don't get results? I think it's all that, it's keeping the love alive for what you do. At the
Yeah.
end, we're just making art.
Has it
Getting
been
upset.
easy for you to kind of transition into more of like the whole content creating part?
For me, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had some rough times with it, but in general, same way as I do with technology and anything, I try to embrace anything that's new. And I try to always tell myself culture is defined by the youth, right? So what is the next generation using? What is making them exciting?
Yeah.
And even if I don't understand it, if that thing's popular, I need to sit down and understand why.
Yeah.
It's not, I can't just say, oh, that's garbage. It's garbage, but it's got 1 billion users. Why?
Yeah, exactly.
What is making people so interested about that? Is it just the content? Is it the way it's being made? And I feel like right now I'm talking about social media, but I'm talking in general about technology. Technology evolves, and so in order to navigate this kind of life that we do, you have to always keep your ears open to what's new. And then why it's popular, why it's not. How can you use that in a way that keeps you interested, that keeps you passionate? It comes from me being, when I was a local DJ in my hometown in France, I was the youngest of the whole crew, and we were all mixing on vinyls, and the whole crew was, they were on vinyls, and then I was the one being like, they have CD players now, I want to start burning CDs, and real DJs on vinyls and everything. So like, I was exposed to that 10 years ago, and I was like, you guys are a bunch of dinosaurs. It's new, it's exciting, it works great, there's less constraint. And so very early on, I kind of had this like, fuck the old school mentality. Everything is new school.
Mentality.
Yeah, and embracing what's new and try to,
I love that.
learn things. And learning is exciting. There's always something new to learn. There's always something new technology that's out there. There's new methods, and it goes back to VSTs earlier. Do I have a favorite one? As every week is going to change, right? Because everything evolves so fast, and so you can decide to sit there and stay in your own way. You can look at what's out there and see how you like it and make it yours in some way,
Right. One of the biggest questions that I got asked when I was like, oh, I'm going to do an interview with Habstrakt was your collab with Malaa.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, so like how was it working with Malaa?
It's great. It's always great with him because we're good friends, so we're brutally honest with each other.
Whoa.
We're both French, so we both like super punchy and aggressive towards each other. Like we'll fucking insult each other, and then we're like,
Really?
It's all good. But in a French way, it's like tough love, French or tough love, right? So
yeah. How long did you know him?
long enough, maybe 10 years.
10 years.
Maybe a little less. I've known him for quite some time. Yeah.
So how long did it take for you to complete this track collab?
This one came out pretty fast actually, because it was done near the end of the writing process of the album, where I had like the whole machine was like just full speed, full gear. I was working in the studio every day doing 12-hour sessions.
Wow.
The first idea for Molotov actually was an idea that he made for his album. Didn't make the cut on his album, and he was like, I can't get this song right. And so he sent it to me, and I remade pretty much everything. I remade the synth, I remade the drums. Remove the thing, just replace them with better sounds. And by using different sounds, you can shift the dynamic of something, right? You can shift the focus towards something else. You can shift the energy of something. So what was lacking was not the writing, it was the energy. the vocal sample, the intro, like those micro nuances that we changed. But in terms of the drop and that crazy lead, he's the one that sent me the idea. All I did was just using different sound colors and palettes and textures to like shift the energy towards something that was more what we wanted. So he came about pretty quick. I would say honestly, a week or two of making the track.
Oh wow!
A month of testing it out.
Testing it out when you said like when you
play it out. Yeah.
Oh.
Both him and I were touring pretty extensively, so we could like every weekend the song was being played, you know, Friday, Saturday from me and from him. So every Sunday we'd be like, wow, the song's been played 4 times this weekend. What was good, what wasn't? Oh, the snare's too loud. Oh, the kick's not. You know what I mean? We could get all the technicals down from basic raw reaction, right? And that was really quick. What
about the people that can't test it out live? Like how would you pinpoint, you know, if it's like a good...
That was me for the longest time.
Yeah.
My best advice was to reference songs. That being said, I think like now electronic music, especially genres like, you know, bass house, dubstep and everything, everything is so loud and so saturated, you're gonna give yourself a headache trying to compete against those really highly densely processed sounds.
Yeah.
But referencing to other things is always a good point, and otherwise sending it out to fuck ton of DJs, and you'll send it to 1,000 people. Only 10 people are gonna reply, but you might get lucky. Stay away from your desk. Playlist of 5-10 songs and put yours in the middle. Listen to everything, but listen to everything like laid back. Don't touch. Don't press play. Don't even look at the screen. Just listen to it like it's music we're making. Right. So that's You
don't use headphones then, I assume.
I don't like to produce on headphones. No, I kind of like to feel, you know, the air moving in the room.
So you
headphones
use,
are very enclosed way of, you know, interacting with music.
Right.
I'm gonna go as far as to say whenever I have AirPods in or anything like that, I don't really listen to electronic music. I listen to stuff that's really outside the field, you know. A lot of ambient, a lot of punk, a lot of whatever. Just so it's not like it doesn't trigger that part of my brain that's like frequencies, compression, you know, boom, boom, boom.
Exactly.
You know, the more I listen to shit like that, the more my mind gets formatted, and it's just the way I think. My lizard brain just gets activated, you know.
I feel like being a music producer, every time you listen to a new song, it's immediately like, oh, this is a bad mix.
It's alienating,
yeah. Yeah.
So I don't listen to much electronic music in the field of EDM, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I try to stay away from it. I listen to songs I listen to promos with the ears of a DJ, right? So is this gonna make people dance or not, you know?
Right.
But when it comes to just enjoying listening to music, I tend to stay away from EDM. It's kind of weird. Like I know so many DJs and producers, but I couldn't name a track from any of them. You know, it's weird. I don't know what my peers are making in terms of music, except a few people like Joyride, Night Punk and everything. Huge fan of them and everything, but also I know when it's time to listen to it, when it's time to stay away from it, because it's gonna influence me, it's gonna make me like, oh, they're so good. I'm not worth it, you know, so I've worked really hard at conditioning myself to stay away from that part of my brain that's gonna be activated.
I also think that's important in the way where a lot of people are starting to sound alike, and you can't really help that. Like, you know, there's like a whole genre.
I think you help that by not listening to anything. By not
listening, that's what I'm saying. Like, because so many people are paying attention to what's popping right now. Like, oh, drum and bass is popping, so now
therefore I need to make a drum and bass song.
Techno is getting bigger now. Now I have to be a techno DJ or producer.
That was very instrumental in my creative process for the album.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to any electronic music for a year.
I love that.
Most of the music I was listening to was, again, like music from dead people, I like to say, you know, like Nirvana, Joy Division, shit like that. And then a lot of ambient, movie scores, you know.
I love that.
Definitely one of the best advice I can give right now is stay away from what everyone else is making, because it's gonna have an impact on you.
I like that.
And just, of course, you need music to play shows as a DJ, so try to separate your brain into the production aspect and the DJ aspect. Learn to recognize what's a great song to play out that's going to make people dance, but try to not let the production aspect of it get to you. Right. And what I found out is that a lot of those songs that actually are the biggest bangers in my set are not perfect on a technical standpoint at all, but they have so much heart and they have that energy and they have that thing that's great. You know, that's one thing I've learned, and that kind of helped me not be so anxious about my technical abilities. It was like, hey, people are dancing. Who cares if the snare's not loud enough or whatever? The reaction is great. People like it.
Okay, we're gonna get into random Q&As.
Okay.
We're gonna get into my favorite question.
Oh, that wasn't random until now?
What is your ultimate comfort food?
Oh, a good bowl of ramen.
Ramen?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Big tonkatsu.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's the first time someone said ramen.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's not my favorite meal, because that's two different questions, right? Comfort food, when I try to be like, eat a good meal and then watch a good movie. Oh, yeah. Ramen or pho, for sure. I'm a big soupy boy, yeah.
big soupy boy. What's your favorite food?
Duck confit.
Duck confit.
Yeah, it's a French dish.
Whoa.
It's a slow cooked duck leg into its own fat for so long that it kind of like becomes caramelized and just strips off the bone. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Wow.
There's a great
yeah, 'cause
restaurant
you're like
downtown.
a chef or something, right?
Nah, people like to say I'm a chef because I made pasta better than them. But no, I'm.
It's because you're French and you worked in the restaurant industry.
It just
and
fits
there's
into
a whole other
It
standard.
fits into the law, yeah. No, I make okay food. I make like 5 recipes. I make them well. But
Wow.
otherwise, my girlfriend cooks way better than me. You know, when it comes to anything
What
else.
does she cook?
Anything and everything.
Really?
She makes great Mexican food.
Whoa! What can you make? What are the 5 dishes that you make really well? Pasta?
Lasagna, really good.
Lasagna!
Duck confit, really good. I slow cook my duck for 40 hours, so it's it's serious.
What? 40 hours?
Yeah, 40 hours slow cooked duck. I make a very mean pulled pork. I make a very cool apple pie. I make a very cool chocolate dessert called rose des sables in French, Seine roses, which is like
Wow.
a mix of cornflakes and a mix of chocolates with a salted butter caramel on top. But I make like 5 recipes and I make them well.
I
The rest
mean, those are really great recipes
Yeah.
to 40 hours.
They're not the healthiest, but
I've been making a lot of Syrian food.
oh yeah,
So yeah, it's not really the healthiest, but it tastes,
but it slaps.
it slaps.
You're Korean, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. How'd you know?
The flag on your shoes.
Well, that's very observant of you.
Yeah, I do love Korean food.
Oh yeah?
What's that cold soup with the broth is like frozen, you know?
Wait, you like naengmyeon?
Yes, naengmyeon, or with pears and slices of cold beef and everything. Oh my
Wait.
god,
You know about
die
naengmyeon?
for that! Yeah, die for that. It's the
Wait,
best
that's
thing.
some like
On
you
a
know.
hot summer day. Yeah, is that some insider shit?
No one really knows about naengmyeon unless you're one Korean,
Yeah.
or like a Korean introduces it to you.
Yeah, Korean introduced me to that. That's why.
Whoa!
But yeah,
Have you been to
this-
Yuchun then?
Is it the one that give you free beef broth
Yes.
on the vending machine?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I need to save the name of that place and go back over there.
Yuchun.
Especially as it's getting hotter now. Yeah, it's
It's-
banging. One thing I cook a lot is bibimbap as well.
What?
Is it called? Yeah, bibimbap. Do you know
Yeah,
this?
bibimbap, the mixed rice bowl.
Mixed rice with yeah.
With
yeah.
like little panchan.
With
and
the yeah.
Whoa.
And the black soybean noodles. Forgot the name. I just know what the packet looks like.
stuff. Wait, jajangmyeon?
Yes.
Wait,
Yes.
I didn't know you knew so much about.
I make a very DIY version with chapaghetti and neoguri, mixed together. That stuff's
Wow.
great.
So you know like real food.
Yeah, I love Asian food in general. Yeah, Korean food is a very, very, very good. I like the abuse of the garlic.
What is your favorite rave?
Well, the one that blew my mind the first time I came to America, 2015. I did EDC 2 weeks into my first trip in America ever. I think EDC is absolutely crazy. EDC Vegas, there's something about it where like
Crazy.
the size of it, the craziness of it, the outfits, all the stage and everything. It's just absolutely unreal.
Yeah.
And it's it's hard to not name EDC because the amount of effort that goes into the experience is so
Right.
huge
So huge.
and it's such a memorable, moment.
Yeah, that was honestly my first music festival that I've ever
Yeah.
been to, like 5 years ago. It was the first music festival. So
Yeah.
I'm just mind blown. I didn't even know that
Oh,
it
yeah.
ends at 8 a.m.
I was walking around like, what is going on? Yeah.
Same. I
Yeah.
had no idea what was happening.
And what I really like now is those Cali type rave, Beyond Wonderland and Nocturnal Wonderland. Those 2 events are really cool. I really like the smaller, contained type vibe. The stage, the lineup's always good. The decoration,
Yeah.
the vibe's always
Yeah.
always a good time at those. I tend to go even if I'm not playing. Last year we went to Nocturnal with my girl. We just like wore balaclavas in the crowd and just like incognito walked everywhere. It was great. Good time. Yeah.
Aw, I've never gone to that.
I saw my first Illenium set. That was
Was that epic? Did you cry?
I have never seen this much stock footage of the ocean. You know what? It was definitely interesting. I love him.
Yeah.
Oh my god, visuals were definitely very ocean based.
Who are your favorite up and coming artists or artists that you look up to?
That I look up to, obviously Joyride, big friend, inspiration, everything. Upcoming, I don't even know if you can call him upcoming right now, but I feel like Night Punk and Emmanuel are really carrying a new sound right now
yeah.
in the realm of those mixed genre electronic music while being absolutely unapologetic, brutally themselves, Really, really obsessed with the sound they make right now. I love the Caracal project in France. Very, very good drum and bass producer. Same thing, just multifaceted, plays guitar, sings. Very, very good artist. First thing that that comes to my mind would be those guys. But again, I don't know if
Okay.
you can call them up and coming because they made serious moves lately. They both
Yeah,
just
they
put out
really
albums and
have.
everything.
Yeah, they kind of broke out of that title,
Yeah.
I feel like, recently.
But they're like people that I know
Especially
personally,
Nightpunk.
and they're also like, we feed off each other, you know. They were at my house 2 days ago in the studio just twisting knobs and everything, and like they're just like those energies that I really love to be
Yeah.
around, you know.
Yeah. What's your most watched movie?
Heat with Al Pacino and everything.
Oh!
Yeah, I love this
Okay.
movie. Something about it, something about how they shot downtown LA. So the
I don't think
robbery.
I've ever watched that movie.
Oh, the robbery scenes are just insane.
Okay,
It's
well,
a
I'm gonna
bank
have to
robber movie. It's just absolutely
Big
incredible.
horror movie. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
gonna have to watch
it's
that.
an old banger, but my God, it's just the casting is perfect. The action is just gorgeous. Yeah, this one and more recently Prometheus. I was a big fan of the Alien universe, and Prometheus was like this new take on it.
I love Prometheus.
The origins of it, and I don't know why so many people didn't like Prometheus. They
Wait,
just
there's
did-
people that don't like Prometheus?
My God, look at reviews of Prometheus. People are actually
Really?
trashing it.
I
Sure,
just
a lot
loved
of
it so much
characters,
I never paid attention.
a lot of characters make terrible and questionable decisions. Like, oh, I see an alien, I'm gonna touch it with my finger. Oh my God, it's biting me. But the whole overall thing,
the
you know.
concept of it
Oh yeah, yeah.
was so cool.
So good.
I literally watched that when it came out. We literally went back 3 more times that
Yeah.
week it came out.
Religiously, yeah.
It
That
was
and the
so
one after
good.
that, Alien Covenant, was obviously a very good follow-up.
What's something you're really bad at?
Sports
Like
in general,
Sports in general?
mathematics, taxes,
Taxes. Yeah, I can relate to that. It's
being to
relatable.
bed at a reasonable hour.
Oh, what time do you usually go to bed?
Actually, I've gone better because my girlfriend works and has to wake up in the morning, so I have no choice but to go to bed. Otherwise, I just stay on my Sims until morning comes up, and it's, you know.
Really?
Yeah, but you make great stuff at night. You know, you have so much production, music
Oh, okay,
production
so
at
you're
night.
a night producer.
Yeah, it's so much better. It's so much better.
So much better.
I do tend to miss it a lot these days. You know. I was doing
Wait,
that
so
for the
do you
album.
really just work until what time?
As long as you can. Usually you get tired around 2, 3 a.m., but if you keep pushing, you can go up until 7, 8 a.m. and then be good.
What?
Yeah. Just like make sure you rest after that, you eat well next morning and everything. Morning/afternoon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I just love sleep so much. I go to bed at like 9.
Yeah, right.
Like 9, 10 p.m.
Yeah.
sounds really nice.
I did get pretty enamored with my sleep lately.
Yeah.
I think it's all the touring as well as catching up with me and
yeah.
getting older as well.
Yeah, getting older. I hit 30 and I'm just feeling it.
Yeah.
Ever since I traveled, I'm just like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
my body is just
I'm
like
33 now, it's the same. It's painful, no?
It's painful.
Yeah.
What's the biggest lesson you learned in the music industry? 'Cause
I'm
you've
gonna
been
go
in-
with the French answer. Trust nobody.
Whoa.
Nobody's gonna help you for free.
Oh,
Trust nobody, man.
Total
Trust nobody.
Did
Like-
you learn that the hard way?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah. The hard
man.
way is always. And I do trust a lot of people, but I've been very selective of who I do and how I do it and everything. But
I feel like that's one of those
Yeah.
things where you have to literally learn the hard way.
yeah,
The trust nobody.
yeah.
Because a lot of
and,
people go in
you have-
trusting.
Yeah, but you have to trust yourself. You have to trust your vision. I think like a lot of people tend to seek for outside advices and everything on things, and we all have the answers inside of ourselves. So if you take good care of yourself, you'll come up. If you listen to yourself, you'll come up with a lot of those answers that you're asking yourself in a much more healthier, natural way. So definitely look after yourself, your body, your soul.
Oh,
Eat
I
well,
see.
sleep well.
Oh, okay. So
work a lot.
in the way where it's like trust your vision. Like,
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
trust other people's opinions.
Exactly,
about
for
you.
sure. Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. Confidence
comes
takes
with-
a while to build. You'll have too much at first and
Yeah.
that'll mess you up, or you won't have enough and that'll mess you up. You have to find the balance in between all
How
that.
did you find that confidence?
I think by just getting to know myself better and being better to myself, healthier,
Healthier.
in a
Healthier
mental way,
decision.
physical way,
Yeah.
and also just a lot of guts. Try that one thing that you want to do without asking anyone and see what happens. And what is it that they say? It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission,
Yeah,
right? Well, this works. This works great. This will
that works great.
make that TikTok video of you in your bathtub eating a banana and see what happens. Because that's what I've been doing. Like. I don't know if you've seen the promo videos that I made lately, but my manager's always like, hey, can you make a video of, hey guys, it's Habstrak, my new song is out now, go stream it, yeah. And I'm like, okay, I'll do something. And it's me eating a banana in my bathtub,
Wow.
not saying a word, and then just like the title comes in. And it works better.
That's so-
I'm happy doing it.
Yeah, it's so unique.
Right? But like, if I had to ask for anyone, hey, do you think a video of me eating a banana in the bathtub would work to promote my new song? You'd be like, Adam, what the hell? Like,
what are
you
you-
okay? Like, no. And so, if
like
you think
that.
something's good, try it. The odds are you might get away with it.
Oh,
Obviously, use common sense and respect and everything.
right.
Respect your elders always.
Respect your elders.
Oh, you know that one, don't you?
Yeah, of course. What is the piece of advice you would give your younger self? Little Adam.
Buy bitcoins. No, definitely don't sell half of the equipment because you need money because you're gonna regret it later.
Wait, what'd you say? Don't
Don't
your...
sell your equipment because you need money. I sold a lot of pieces that are very cherished and I can never
really?
find anymore.
Oh no.
Keep every piece of gear that you acquire. Kind of make a museum for yourself, and
Wow.
yeah, just be more confident. Don't waste so much time, partying and chasing silly things, and be more confident and definitely spend a lot more time working. That being said, I don't regret much in my life, so there's not much advice I would give my former self because I look at my path and I'm pretty proud of everything, and I think even the low moments led me to the good moments, right? So.
Aw. What do you think about NFTs? Like music NFTs?
I think it's bullshit. I think the whole thing is complete bullshit. It's
Oh,
okay, it's a
God.
two-part question. Do I think that having a property title linked to a piece of art, a property title that cannot be falsified, that's linked to something, you buy a painting from a famous painter, but you have a property title that exists on a blockchain, cannot be duplicated, can be proved that it's authentic and everything. Do I believe in this?
Yeah.
Yes. Do I believe in, oh, it's a picture of a monkey, I have the JPEG, but you took a screenshot, but I have the original one? Do I believe in the idea that digital art can exist in a unique way? Absolutely not. Do you know why? I'm the generation that discovered Emule and LimeWire, and someone has an album, everyone has the album. You finally have that CD, you can burn it, and all your homies have it. I'm the generation that used to see those ads. You wouldn't download a car,
Right.
you wouldn't, downloading and stealing, and like piracy was the greatest thing that ever happened to the music industry. I believe in this. So now you're trying to, like, after 20 years later, after telling me, hey, you can get all those movies for free on Emule, you can get all this music without having to pay $20 for a CD when you only want one song and everything. I'm the generation that discovered the internet, the MP3 and everything. And now you're trying 20 years later to sell me the complete opposite concept? Why? I think it's
Wow,
it's a money scam, it's a pyramid scheme.
I never thought of that.
And do you know how I know that?
Huh.
I know that because I was one of the early guys that bought Bitcoins. And I was one of the early guys that said, hey, I bought $30 of Bitcoin so many years ago and now they're worth $30,000. And that's a true story. I bought $30 of Bitcoin and now they're worth 30,000. So I'm the guy that fed all the people that dreamed that buy it and it's gonna expand everything, but it's not the case anymore. It's a pyramid scheme basically, right?
I could get into this too, but like with NFTs, I feel like there's so many strong owners and they like trick the system too.
For real,
By like
it's-
building up this like fake hype and like buying it or whatever.
You're creating
And
fake value.
Yeah,
and
creating-
He created this whole wave of art that is not actual art, that was just
Exactly.
ingenuine, and so
creating fake value. Exactly.
this is a farce, and this is why we can't be taken seriously, right? Yeah.
2 more questions. What's the top goal on your bucket list right now?
I want to do something else than DJing on stage. I'm trying to build
Oh.
my big goal right now is to build a live show basically, right?
Whoa.
Using the modular that I use at home but on stage.
That's cool.
It's a lot of work. I'm not sure I'm actually going to succeed
You mean
anytime
that
soon.
giant thing that like that?
Yeah, it
giant
wouldn't be that
synthesizer?
giant. It would be probably a smaller version of that. Obviously, a computer for some
I have
stability.
so many questions about that
Yeah.
synthesizer, by the way.
Well, you'll come to the studio and we'll do
Yeah.
a studio tour, and I
Yeah.
can show you that.
Next time
Yeah.
I see Habstrakt, we're gonna go see the studio.
The studio,
tour.
the NASA machine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
the spaceship.
I saw the pictures and I was like, this legit looks like a spaceship. I
It
have
is.
no idea
It's
what
very interesting.
you do with that.
So I want to
but-
bring some of that on stage. I'm a
Wow.
DJ by trade. I've always loved this, but I'm at this point where like my sets are 90 to 95% my own songs. So I'm like, what if I could deconstruct everything and reconstruct everything live in different ways than just playing song after songs?
Wow.
Since I own all these materials and I own all the parts of these materials, what if I
Yeah.
start blending those things? So my biggest goal right now is to try to like take a look back at all the work I've created, reappropriate it in a way that's new, that's exciting, that's interesting, and that's just danceable, right?
Yeah. Last question.
Oh,
What
that's
do
one.
you want to be remembered for?
All those interviews, all of us talking and everything is one thing, but the strongest message that I ever want to leave in this world is gonna be the thing that I create. And so I always think that a piece of art is worth 1,000 words, you know, and speaks better than I'll ever be able to, especially with my dirty accent and everything. So now I want to be remembered for what I've created, not who I was. Even if people have no interest in who I was, but they just stumble upon a piece of art that I made, should it be music or anything else, an NFT, you know, in 100 years from now, if they relate to that, it doesn't matter if they have an interest in who made it, as long as they feel something, you know, when they being exposed to something like that. So I want to be remembered for what I make. I think that's why the album is called Heritage as well, you know. This is what I want to leave behind. Not all that social media, not all the talks, not all the, you know, mental gymnastics we do every day to try to make ourselves more relevant and interesting. At the end of the day, what always mattered for me is the art.
Yeah. Well, Adam, thank you so much for this conversation and, you know, sharing everything and being a part of this.
It's been real. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. All right, bye. Oh, next time we see him, gonna
In the
be
studio.
in the studio.
In the studio,
Walk into the
tweaking some
studio.
knobs. Yep.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Thank you guys. Take care.